ethnic study is not necessary. Ethnic study is vital for humanity.
Probably one of the greatest scourges of this country is racism. It's one of the most intractable issues, and even though there's so much dialogue, I still think it's one of the most misunderstood issues, especially for those who are privileged, and I'm talking about white Americans there. So it's just something that we need to study if we're going to eradicate it. You find that a lot of the experiences of students of color get stifled and don't have a venue to be shared in the classroom, especially at a predominantly white school that the center school is. And then I find that students are disproportionately, and there's a lot of research around this, but white people, and especially white students, are disproportionately disengaged in fighting against racism. So if you can teach about it, you can get more people to try to take action against racism.
When you only tell the master Eurocentric narrative, students of color don't see themselves in the history and the narrative of Americans or as American people. Oftentimes we are portrayed as savages or uncivilized, or in the case with African enslaved people and indigenous people, not even human. And so it's important to tell our real history as seen by the people who experienced it, so that our students of color feel like they are part of the narrative, because they are. And so ethnic studies provides that.
And so for me, culture responsive practices, ethnic studies is opportunity to say that actually we have value for every person that's in a classroom, and your story belongs here and your being belongs here. And that opportunity gap, I think, would be very much decreased if we start actually looking at who we are serving every single day. And so serving the needs of the students that are in our classroom, meeting their needs, teaching them, engaging them, allowing them to teach us as well, I do think definitely would close the opportunity gap.
What does it mean to lead? And no, I'm not talking about the stereotypical position over principal popularity contest president, or the resident assistant, more focused on policing than teaching, speaking than acting, full time with time passing. I'm talking focused on being on platforms and screens, using leadership as an ends instead of a means. No, I'm not talking about you either. I'm talking about really leading. I'm talking about creating a world that you want your descendants to see. I'm talking action over authority, principle over position, Picasso with the policy on a Malcolm X mission. I'm talking vision. Seeing things that have not yet been written with every intention of willing it to flourish. And I'm talking about turning this canvas into your canvas. Painting with every beautiful shade of brown, because it wouldn't be art if I left either of them all white. No, see, those would be my history books, like the ones that they read in elementary school. Constantly telling stories of how I don't matter, only seeing souls that resemble mine. If they are bruised, beaten, or battered, or chained, or sold, or property treated improperly, ridden by poverty, gentrified, and then pushed out. What does it mean to lead? It means giving them something to write about, reminding them of the leaders that they forgot about, leaving a legacy, giving them a novel of novel ideas, not taking no for an answer, navigating nobility, using your gifts, talents, and abilities in symmetry. I'm talking about being the textbooks you want your children to read. What does it mean to lead? To be the revolutionary revenant, humble and intelligent, shoulder sore city on your back, you had to carry it, caring for your community, taking education and then sharing it, arose from the concrete, owning your story and then telling it. I'm talking about standing in the face of injustice, fighting for justice, even if the only people fighting is just us, staying in our community for diversity and unity. I'm talking more graduations and less premature eulogies. See, this looks like you and it looks like me, being bigger than titles, worth more than scholarships, refusing to be idle, pick a passion and then follow it. We are not fighting for benefits, we are fighting for change. And if you're here for anything else, then get out of our way. See, I don't know why you're here or why you continue to stay, but my real leaders get information, because baby, we came to slay, we know what's at stake. As long as our schools are underfunded and children are overlooked, as long as women are being body shamed and told how to look, as long as my brothers are afraid to be killed, injured, or booked, we will be standing in solidarity. Foundation can't be shook, we will be leading until we have created the world that we want to live in. So when I ask, what does it mean to lead? Don't tell me. I'd rather read it. I'd rather see it. We should only talk about change if we're willing to be it. So don't lead for the sake of leading. Lead with purpose. Lead with passion. Lead with action. Lead because your world is waiting.